would you do me a favor? I wanted to tell you, and she's going to finish what she's saying. One of the reasons we're here tonight is because there was a forum of the present legislators that presented what they thought was the right thing. And they continued to say over and over again that they were angry with the senator from out here, Steve Morris, because they said he had caused the Senate to continually stop what they were sending him from the House, which was this kind of stuff that we've been talking about. And they kept saying it, and they kept bad-mouthing Steve Morris over and over. And a bunch of us were getting very, very uncomfortable. And there were two gentlemen there that night, and this is the reason why I didn't do any introduction over here with this man before, because I wanted to save it for this part. One man was the superintendent at Copeland, Kansas. And he stood up and said, I don't like what you're saying. He had guts and courage enough to say, I don't like what you're saying about Steve Morris, because he represents the people of Western Kansas and represents what we're trying to do with schools. And because of what you're doing with this bill, I'm going to lose, and if I say this wrong, he's going to help me a little bit, because I want him to stand up. The superintendent that did that night was a man named Zehr. Is it Zehr?
Zehr.
Zehr? Is that
Zehr,
right?
like Bill. I'm not here representing USD 371 or 476. I'm actually the superintendent of both Montezuma and Copeland. Family friends with the Loves. I consider Ron Reichman a friend. Just that evening, I just felt like I took up a little bit of their time and voiced my opinion. I consider those guys friends. I think they consider me a friend. We just don't agree on their political ideas, and they don't agree with me. So
Until what happened to your school?
I will. I will. It's one of those things where I told them that night that I didn't agree with what they were saying. Senator Morris was an advocate for schools in Southwest Kansas. We lost, and you can ask any superintendent out in this area. We lost a very good man and a very strong supporter for schools. What has happened at my school, and I'll touch on some of the things that Bill said. And I don't want to take up a whole lot of your time, but I feel like it's very important for you to hear. At Copeland, not only when I applied for the job and I was hired, it was a dual superintendent's position. Half-time at Copeland, half-time at Montezuma. I spent half a day at each. But in the meantime, the cuts have required me to become the principal at Copeland. I had to eliminate a principal's position. I had to eliminate 2 teaching positions. I had to take my kindergarten and put them with my first grade. I had to take my second grade and put them with my third grade. I eliminated a bus route, eliminated a cook, custodian. And so I was explaining all this. We share teachers for us to continue to have art, music, library services, band. We share teachers between the 2 districts. There's an efficiency task force out there right now, and Larry, no offense, but there's nothing on it but CPAs and legislators. There's not one school person on there. How do they know what is efficient in a school system without school people on there? I don't know how I can be any more efficient at Montezuma and Copeland than we are. I share a band teacher, I share an art teacher, I share a librarian, I share a superintendent, I share an athletic director. Now there's a couple others I share. But I don't know how we can be any more efficient out there. We still made it work, and that's part of the issue. Is whatever happens, we continue to make it work. But at some point, our kids are going to suffer. And with this tax plan, I get criticized, and every superintendent out here gets criticized because we have fund balances. We've kind of have a rainy day fund. The legislature didn't do their job 2 or 3 years ago when they should have had a little bit of rainy day fund, and they squandered that money and didn't put any of it back. If we don't have money right now with what's going to get ready, in my opinion, I think it's going to happen. We can maybe fight it off for a couple years, but after that, I don't know what we're going to do. And that's what I told those guys. I would love to go back and spend every dollar that I have in my budget with their promise that this thing's going to turn around, and they're going to, the tax cut that they voted for is going to, this revenue is going to be replaced. If I go back and spend every dollar and this doesn't happen, I'm the worst superintendent in the state of Kansas. But by putting money back and having a little bit in a rainy day fund, I'm getting criticized for it, yet the legislature, the governor, wanting to do that right now. Okay, why is it good enough for them, but we're criticized for doing it? I don't understand that. Talking about the 23 jobs that he's going to have to create, there's more than 23, because since this thing's been passed, all I've read about is Johnston's, Hallmark, Simeon's, Boeing, Hawker Beechcraft. They're laying people off. Okay, so you better start adding some jobs to that 23,000 if they think 23,000 is going to be plenty. The thing that may save them is this oil boom that's going to happen in this area. I want them to make sure that they don't count these oil industry, the gas industry jobs that are coming with this boom as part of his plan, because when this was passed, they didn't have a whole lot of idea that this was possibly going to happen. The 1 cent sales tax, I think I find it ironic that when it was passed, the governor was against it, and today in the paper it came out and said he is possibly going to extend it to help offset some of the revenue reduction. I find that kind of interesting, but I don't know. I just told the guys that I'm worried. I'm worried for our kids. I'm worried for our elderly. I'm worried for our social services. I don't know what their plan is if this doesn't come to fruition. And we've done what we can. We've put a little money back. That'll get us through a little bit. You're talking about, at Copeland, I'm 69% ESL. 69%, 7 out of every 10 kids that I have over there. And the majority of them are low German. No written language, it's only spoken. And those are the kids that we're educating. And I promise you, every dollar that's taken away from me, it puts so much stress on my teachers. And I've got one of the best groups. I don't have a whole lot of them, but I've got a great faculty and a great staff, and they just continue to make it work. And as long as we continue to make it work, they're going to keep cutting us. And at some point, it's not going to work. And I'm afraid that's what's going to happen if they don't do something with this. So, enough of my time.